overall, just the experience of it's fun. The car, the driving of the car is pretty fun. I'm enjoying that, and certainly I think that there's a little bit to what this car is to what is coming for our next gen race car in NASCAR. So there's something to be learned there for sure. But to translate anything from what I'm doing to NASCAR right now, I don't think it's much, if any at all. Like Jack got his chance to run an Xfinity race last year in Ohio, I think, and I think he had to unlearn everything he ever knew to drive our cars. So it's the same going the other way.
Kyle, how comfortable would you say that you feel now at this point, having had some stints in there? And do you know which order you will be getting into the car?
Yeah, so the test, when we were here for the test, I felt pretty good about it. I felt about 3-4 tenths off of Jack. And then when we went to the simulator, again, after the test, I got within a tenth of him on the simulator, so I felt really good then. And then we came back here, and the first time I ran was last night, and I was on older tires. I think I started on 18-lap tires. We only go 29, and I ran like 12 laps, and I was assholes and elbows. Like, it was ugly. I spun out once. I went off in turn one once. I had to make a U-turn and come back. I mean, it was ugly. And then Jack got in right after me, and he was like, "Oh my God, mate, this car's terrible." So I was like, "Okay, I don't feel."
I think you made him Australian.
Maybe it might sound a little Ambrosy. We do have an Aussie on our team too, so maybe. Anyways,
he's a Kiwi.
Yeah, those two got. Jack was like, the car's not very good, so it made me feel a little bit better about it, but still, I looked like a butt while out there. So then we got in it this morning. Jack got in, ran some laps, and then I was able to get in and ran some laps, and I felt like I was back to square one like I was here at the test. I felt like my lap times were decent. I felt like the feel of the car was good, so I was like, okay, I'm better now. Like, car's a little bit better. Still have work to do on the car, but I felt okay about getting out of it at that point. What was your other question?
Do you know when you'll drive?
When I'll drive, all right. If I remember right, I'm probably going to be about 6 to 9 p.m. and then 2 to 4:30, and then 7 to 9, I think, a.m. again, and then Jack will finish. Yeah.
Did you go out overnight?
2 to 4?
Sorry.
That's going to suck. Yeah. It's going to suck. That's exactly when I told him I did not want to run. I got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
We're going to the back to the left there, Chris.
The new guy. Yeah. I pulled the short straw.
Kyle, has it been difficult to adjust to being in the slowest class of car when in NASCAR you tend to be a front runner?
No, not at all. Actually, I don't look at the other classes at all. Nothing. You know, they're so much faster that it doesn't even translate. It doesn't even bother me. You know, like, yeah, you look in the mirror and they're coming, but man, they're coming and they're by and they're gone so fast. It's like, doesn't matter. Just don't be in the way when they get there. So that's interesting. I think what's going to matter is just for me when we get into the race and if there's a yellow and I restart with class cars, that's where it's going to get, okay, mano-a-mano type action, you know what I mean, of trying to outrace some of these guys. And knowing who you're racing against too is going to be part of the thing that you've got going on for me anyways, with is it a gold, is it a silver, you know, what do we got going on around me? Because like especially in the middle of the night, like you're going to be following some of these guys, and if it's a silver guy in front of you and he doesn't have a gentleman driver, let's call it, and they throw it off in the bus stop, well, they might miss the line or something, so you don't want to be following a guy and be like, oh, maybe he knows something that I don't know. He probably doesn't know. So you don't want to be following somebody like that and trusting them, so you kind of want to know who you're behind if something like that goes on.
Kyle, can you talk about just the relationship that you've built with these co-drivers, especially Jack? It seems like you guys have a pretty healthy mutual respect for each other out of this.
Absolutely, yeah. Jack's been really good. Townsend as well too. Like all of them. I got Quesadilla on my car and Parker Chase as well too. So we've talked an awful lot, and you know, we've been in our team meetings an awful lot and things like that. Unfortunately, those guys haven't gotten a whole lot of track time. I know. Let's see. I think Parker ran 1 lap lap in the dry yesterday. He was in the wet, but then ran one lap in the dry, and then got in a little bit more today. So he's probably got like 4 or 5 laps since we've been here. I think KCD is about the same way. So it's I don't know. As far as the relationship though goes, it's pretty good. It's just you know, talking with all those guys, talking to AT on the other team, and what's the other kid's name? SVG and Aaron. And talk, you know, they all have they've been here before, so they have a good feel of what to expect, and have been in the car and stuff like that. So just understanding and listening to all of our guys in our meetings, you can translate. And then I like to ask questions because they might say something, and I'm like, hey, that doesn't make sense. So then I ask them questions about it, and try to pin it to like a particular thing that they're doing, or a part on the track in which they're fighting or trying to get better. And so it's been good.
Now that you've had some time here, and you're not just any NASCAR driver here, you're the reigning champion, what has the reception been like for other drivers? Have you had a lot of people come up and want to talk to you, other competitors that you're going to be going against? What's the reception?
Actually, no. I guess I've been from point A to point B so much that I haven't really walked the garage very much, and have gotten a chance to see any of them. I've waved to a few of them. You know, I got a chance to see Hunter Ray when we were down here testing. I haven't seen any of the Penske guys. Joseph and I are pretty good friends, but he's not here this time around, you know, so saw Jordan walking earlier, said wave to him, you know, so a few of those guys, but haven't had a chance to really conversate.
Okay.
Kyle, coming from the NASCAR business to this totally new environment, nevertheless, is there anything what you can take from NASCAR to your advantage here at IMSA Racing? And the second question, in NASCAR you have spotters. You have your spotters as well, or you have to drive without spotters here?
Yeah, so I guess you can take overall racecraft. I think, you know, understanding your whereabouts, understanding the faster cars being around you, coming around you, you know, braking zones, passing zones, things like that, of where you can do some of that stuff. And earlier today it was interesting. I had a DP catch me in the tri-oval, and he was too late for turn 1, so I kept my line in turn 1, got through turn 1, got through turn 2, and I rolled over to the side to let him go into 3, and he didn't take it. So I'm like, well, that's weird. Okay, so then we come out of 3, and I stay over left, and then he gets me coming out of 3 before 4, and I'm like, man, I don't. You try to go through 4 wide open. In our cars, it's not that big a deal, but you know, when you're offline and you got to try to go through there wide open, it's kind of an issue. So I hate passing around turn 4. But anyways, it's just a matter of, you got to know your whereabouts and kind of what's going on around you and stuff. So that's kind of interesting of understanding some of that. But what was the other question? The second
Spotters.
One? Spotters. Yeah, so I got my spotter, Tony Hirschman. He's mine from NASCAR, so he's here helping us on our team. I got the other guy fired. Oh, we're going through the grass. He made it. Maybe. Anyways.
How did you get the other guy fired?
He's on the other car. They just moved him over. So he's used to doing the 14, I guess, with Jack, but I wanted Hirschman. So, yeah. So we had drivers win. So I have Hirschman, but then we also have Kevin Hamlin. So those guys, like, I don't know if my schedule is going to line up with their schedule at all. So I don't know how the spotters will work, but Kevin's fine. And we've gotten a little bit of dialogue with our spotters, and we've kind of told them what we expect. They were a little chatty in the test here, so we had to tell them to back it down a little bit. I like chatty, but Jack didn't like chatty. So see, it's all about Hawk. Yeah, so that's about it.
Talk about how this deal came together. Was it something that you kind of went to the team, you know, being with Toyota and Lexus, or did they actually come to you to team up and pair up for this race?
No, they came to me. So a couple years ago, when they knew that this deal was formulating and coming together, they asked me if I'd like to be a part of it, and I said, no, not on startup. I said, I'm not going to be your R&D driver. They come back to me in a couple years and ask me, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go do it. You know, I like Jimmy. You know, I thought they won a couple races last year, so they had some development in the program, getting a little bit better and stuff like that. They finished second here last year in class, and so I'm looking forward to you know, hopefully being able to go out there and win the race.
Are you liking it? Are you having a good time?
Yeah, certainly. No, I'm having a good time. I like it. It's fun. It's different, but overall, sometimes different's good. And you know, hopefully later on down the road, however many years it takes, maybe Toyota, Lexus, whoever will venture on up the ladder and get themselves to a DP position. But we'll see.
And Kyle, that kind of raises the question. I mean, what we just announced today with the prototype top category being eligible at Le Mans here, basically all over the world, starting in 2022. I mean, that kind of opens up those opportunities a little bit. Can you comment on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the first I've heard of it. I don't know exactly everything, but sounds to me, you know, like top class Le Mans, top class here makes sense. And you know, obviously Toyota, that's what their new endeavor is going to be with their Toyota. I guess is it called a hypercar? Yeah. So you know, that would be pretty cool if the same thing works over there and over here. Well, that might be our answer already. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming in.
All right.
Best of luck this weekend.
If it works over there, it works over here.